Hi, I am Abraham Lule. I am a Mexican graphic designer living in New York. My work and fascination in typography and design started earlier on, maybe as some of you are. When I was a kid, I was fascinated by colors and stories and graphics. I started coloring in books, notebooks, even napkins. I love playing with toys. I loved storytelling. And then that just became my career. It's not much different from what I do right now. When I was about 6 years old, I was in my breakfast table eating some scrambled eggs, but a bottle of ketchup was in front of me. Then I just found myself drawing that bottle of ketchup with some napkins and more ornaments and typography. This was all in my imagination. Now I know that that's called packaging and advertising, but back then it was just fun. Because I became better at drawing, my interest just pushed me there. People started seeing my ability in illustrating and coloring. When I was in primary school, I entered an oil painting class, and later on, I just became the apprentice of this teacher who taught me from brushes to canvases, the easel. This experience is something that I keep close to me. Growing up with this artistic personality, I was always this kid at classroom who will draw on your notebook, do birthday card for you, the poster for the recital on school, which I didn't know that was graphic design either, but I do right now. Later on, I just found myself collecting items such as menus from fast food restaurants. My family and friends knew that I was collecting them, so when they were traveling outside the country, they would bring them back to me as souvenirs. I didn't know what was special about this, but there was something interesting about the culture and the languages and how these items were expressed in such a tiny format. In all honesty, what I did is pasting all these menus on my room as a wallpaper, so I had all this world of marketing and graphics around me when I was around 15 or 16 years old. When I finished high school, I moved to Buenos Aires to study advertising. Then I went back to Mexico, kept studying advertising, but then an opportunity came to me. My mom got me a scholarship to study graphic design. So I moved there. I didn't know what it was. I just fell in love with it. When I started studying graphic design, I started doing my own research, my own investigation. What I was learning at school was important, but then I really wanted to have my own self-learning. And then I remember those menus, thinking of cultures, what it was outside my country, and I ended up moving to New York. The body of work right now in my portfolio is mostly typographical. Most of my work is also for packaging. Things that gave me recognition in my industry with organizations such as the Type Directors Club, which awarded me with an Ascenders. Then I got a Penta Award and a Latin American Design Awards of my work in packaging. After I studied at SVA, there was something that was calling me back to New York. Thinking of all these heroes and designers who were living here, I just wanted to have them close to me. That was for me what was paramount to move to New York. Because of my interest in motion graphics, I started just digging deep into it. But later on, I just started projects in packaging. These packaging projects were really the key for me to move to New York. After working 3 years with a design studio here in New York in packaging, that led me to open my own independent studio in which I have the opportunity to work with small companies directly with a client, really small and craft businesses, really tailor-made the solutions. This just became my dream job. I truly believe that the work that we do with our hands is what adds that personal touch to your projects. This is something that I mix with analog and digital platforms, and I keep so close to my work in my practice. In this course, I'll walk you through my process too. Now that I have introduced myself, in the next lesson, I'll introduce you to my influences.